What is up, guys? This is John from 100%mindset.com. I'm here today to review a book. It's the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Awesome book. Anyhow, I do want to say that if I provide a link below to buy the book, I could be an affiliate for that link and get a small commission off of that. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about Grant Cardone. He is a character, that's for sure, but he's a very smart man. And before I start on the book, I just want to touch a little bit on he's been recently saying, that he's a Scientologist, and so is his wife Elena. And I just want to touch on that a little bit because I know he had some, psychological issues in the past with ADD, anxiety, depression, was like a lot of us do. And the only thing I can say about the Scientology is it kind of gives you a mathematical way. I don't endorse it. I'm not a Scientologist, but it kind of gives you these programs you can take down at the Church of Scientology. You pay for them, and they kind of get you through some of these psychological issues. I think that's what kind of where Tom Cruise was coming from. He said that this doesn't exist, blah blah blah. That and in some ways I can relate, because we've all become a society of crybabies and needy people, whereas people like Grant and Tom Cruise and you can't deny these people get after it. These people are top performers, high performance people that don't wait around. They take what's offered in life and they make the best of it and they make things happen. So with that being said, let's get to the book. So basically the book is not that long. It's an easy read. Grant wrote this book in the recession, 2008, 2009. I think he said he wrote it in like something crazy like 48 hours, or it came out of him. He sat down and like days later or the weekend later he had a book. And the reason why is because he had all this real estate and these businesses, and basically in 2008 and 2009 everything was like Armageddon. It was a contraction, and his wife Elena was like, well, what's gonna happen to us? And he's all like, we're gonna die. It's typical Grant Cardone. He's like, I'm gonna get us out of this. But basically, people weren't spending money. People weren't buying his programs. He sells a lot of programs on how to, sell cars. Also sells programs for companies. How to, get your team to hit higher numbers. And he's got all this educational stuff and real estate. He owns like tons of condos and apartment buildings. People know that. He's a real estate dude. Started in San Diego. Bought his first, I think it was like 16 units in Vista. Sold that years later for a profit, and then basically just rinse and repeat. He's almost got like $1 billion in real estate, something like 5,000 apartment units. He's totally against single family units. He's totally against buying your own home. He's he's more for like rent your own home, and buy apartments, buy multifamily real estate and buy it to where it cash flows. But anyways, back to the book. The book is basically a roadmap for whatever your target is. You need to 10x that thing. You cannot sell yourself short with these little dreams and goals and have anything big happen for you. He's basically saying in this recession, in this contraction, he should have been 10xing all those apartment buys. He should have been 10xing all those $1 million deals, and he would have been prepared for this recession. It kind of caught him with his pants down. He didn't see this coming, and that's why him and Elena were like scared. Nobody was spending money on his programs. Nobody was really buying real estate. Everybody was like tightening up, and the money was like the spigot was being shut down. So the great thing about this book is he's like, if you got a target, 10x that target. Because even if you fall short, you'll probably do more than you thought you would. And it goes into a little bit about how he grew up in Louisiana. He's a college educated guy. I think he has a degree in accounting, but he pushed through this book. He rushed this book out in, like I said, 48 hours. So there's people that criticize him on Amazon on reviews that the spelling's not right or this or that. He says, I don't care. He goes, I got this book done and I got it out. It's not perfect, but it's out. And it's valuable. And it did sell. And it is a badass little book because it basically goes over some basic skills that you need to do that all of us need to do. We're not 10xing our fitness. We're not 10xing our job, if we work a regular 9 to 5. We're not 10xing our relationships. We are just doing probably just enough to get by. So this book puts you in this frame of mind where you can become more because you can do more. You can aim higher, 10 times higher. If you want to make $1 million, he says aim for 10 million. $1 million's not that much anymore. If you want to make $4,000 a month, you should be shooting for $10,000 a month or higher, okay? And then you go and you reverse engineer it and you work backwards on how you might do this. Like I said with Grant, it's like teaching products, books. He sells all these courses he's a public speaker. He has a real estate portfolio. These guys, you cannot deny this guy. He's got a crazy work ethic, One thing I write on my whiteboard where all my stuff is at home is like, have an insane work ethic. You need that. Come on, if everybody else is just mad and miserable and riding in their car and going to traffic, and you got an insane work ethic, aren't you going to 10x some stuff? You probably will. You keep self-developing and you keep 10xing your goals. And he's a big advocate for writing your goals down and then rewriting them down. He talks about having a yellow pad near his bedside and he writes it down every night, like what he's trying to do. And what it's going to take to get there. And Jim Rohn was a big another advocate of that you constantly have to re-examine your goals. But back to the book. So he's growing up in Louisiana, a young kid, had a rough childhood, had anxiety, was getting with the wrong crowd, was doing drugs, probably more like pot and whatnot, drinking every day, and he was a used car salesman, and he just wasn't getting anywhere. He was spinning his wheels. And his parents were always afraid about money, like scared that the, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, everything's going wrong. We need to hoard our money. And the dad just finally got to the place in the middle class where he could say, they just moved into a bigger house. He's like, I think he has like a twin brother and a couple sisters. So they finally were like getting to the house where they wanted, and they finally felt financially secure. And then his dad died. His dad was only 52, so he had gotten to the where he wanted to be, but then he died. So the mom was like, oh Lord, what do I do now? The breadwinner's dead. So she went into total retraction and total conserve all the money and save all the money and put the scare into the kids, we all got to cut back and this and that. And so Grant grew up in this household of fear, and I guess he vowed that he would never feel that fear when he grew up. He would never be in that position in a retraction or somebody died or financial dire straits. He would do anything in his power to 10x his life and 10x his income. And he bought some sales training. This was back in the days of magazines. And he borrowed money from his mom. I think it was $2,500 or $1,500, which is probably $3,500 today. He got this sales training and learned it inside and out. He was obsessed with it. He was like, I am going to turn my life around. I am going to turn into a selling machine. You know, he hated selling cars, but he was determined to become the best at it. So that's what he did. He mastered that craft. He started selling more cars than anybody. He would go on tours, you know, teaching other dealerships how to sell. And he was basically turning his life around, building himself back up from like zero, from nothing, to not repeat what happened in his childhood. So it's a very interesting book. Like I said, the concept is 10x everything. He wrote it during the recession. There's actionable things you can implement in this book for anything in your life. You don't have to have businesses. You don't have to have real estate holdings. You don't have to be a used car salesman. You can always 10x your level of life. You can 10x your fitness at the gym. You can 10x your regular job. You can 10x your relationship. You know, you can work on that. You can work on yourself. You know, and he talks about his fitness in this book. He basically got everything after this retraction, after this recession, to 10x levels, okay? And surprisingly, folks, like every book, every self-help book, almost every book I'm going to review touches on fitness, okay? You can't get away from that. There's always going to be something where you got to get your body right and you're eating clean and your mind right, and it's usually through self-development, courses. It's not a college degree. It's mostly self-help, building yourself from the ground up, and doing it the 10x levels. I gave this book a 5-star review on Amazon. If you want to buy the book, use the link below.